for us to reflect and realize all the education in the world. So all the education in the world, for this UCLA student getting his PhD, it was not enough for him to kind of, manage his own anger, what we call as a worldly passion. And not only devastation to some other person, his professor, but also to himself and the families as well, those who survived. And, many students or staff at UCLA must have been traumatized by that. I graduated from UCLA, so that's why when I was thinking about it, it brought memories back to safe and serene campus when I was there many years ago. So even though people know about, the teachings, some teachings, or, that anger is not good, we shouldn't express anger, we shouldn't let it out. To be able to actually put it in practice and not let it out when in that moment of rage, that's a totally different issue. So that's just one example that we learn how to practice the teachings at this Buddhist academy. This is just a little warm-up to today's topic, because we just came back from Japan 2 weeks ago, so it is still very fresh. And so to practice the teaching, also we need to take care of our health. Sometimes when we get busy with life, we tend to ignore what we eat. But actually in Buddhism, everything is cause and effect relationship. So if we want to have good health, it's important to eat healthy meals. And so, they were very kind at this academy. They served us 3 meals, breakfast, lunch, dinner, very well balanced, lots of vegetables. And so, I encourage all of you to go there someday if you have the chance to travel to Japan. It was great. So we are indebted to all the professors and other people there. And during our breaks, we would go around. It's like the countryside Japan. So in one of our walks, we found there were many logs here, like in a kind of like this horizontal and then vertical, crossing each other. And then we were wondering what they were. Do you recognize this kind of thing, plant? It's a plant here. It's actually a mushroom called shiitake. Yeah, have you had any? No, it's one of my favorite Japanese, if you can call it vegetables. I never had this before I visited Japan, and I instantly fell in love with its flavor. It has a very meaty flavor or meaty texture, and it's a very strong flavor. So basically they have these little holes they make on the log, and then they insert the spore. So not the seed, but the spore. So these were 2 slides about our trip to Japan, in case you wanted to know how it went. So it was really, really good. And so today's topic is actually about the 5th paramita, which is known as self-reflection. So last time, Yuichi talked about the 4th paramita of making effort. So today is the 5th paramita. So first, we want to understand the meaning of the word paramita. It's actually a Sanskrit word. Basically, in English, it means a bridge. And a bridge is something that helps us cross from this side of the shore to the other side of the shore. So basically from the shore or the side we human beings are in, which is the world of suffering, we want to cross to the Pure Land where there is no suffering. And so Buddha taught us 6 paramitas that actually, these paramitas, by practicing them, they help us cross from where we are to a world where there is no suffering. And a bridge, you know, the previous slide showed the bridge. It looked like you could travel maybe without having the bridge. But I chose this picture also to tell you that without this bridge, there's no way you can go to the other side because it's a precipice, or what do you call it, like an abyss. It's really deep. There's no way we can go. So, yeah. So paramitas are actually good deeds. There are countless good deeds in the world, which one can practice. But if there are too many good deeds, you feel at a loss which one to pick and do in everyday life. So Buddha, to encourage us to do good deeds, he categorized countless good deeds into 6, known famously as the 6 paramitas, and which are basically doing kindness. Frank covered this a few weeks ago. And then keeping promises, and then exercising patience, making effort. Today we are doing this one, self-reflection. And then last one, exercising wisdom. These are basically the 6 paramitas. And actually, Buddha, the historical Buddha, Shakyamuni, he encouraged to just focus on one of these 6 paramitas. That's the beautiful feature of these 6 paramitas. If you choose only one, the one that actually suits you the most, the one that's your favorite, and you focus on doing that thoroughly every day, you will end up doing all the 6. And if you do all the 6, that means you will end up doing countless good deeds, known as myriad good deeds. So it's really amazing how Shakyamuni Buddha is able to categorize countless good deeds into only 6. Yeah, it's amazing. So for example, you want to, keep your promises, be on time, for example, you have to be kind to the person you made the promise with, because you're valuing their time and the fact that they showed up on time. So that's a kindness already when you keep your promise. And to keep promise, it's not easy because we need, first we need to make effort, because we have so many to do for ourselves. To keep our promises, we have to make effort to put more value on the other person's time and energy. And then we have to endure a lot of hardships. And if we fail to make a promise, we do self-reflection. And then to improve ourselves. And when we do them effortlessly, it's like having acquired wisdom. So we end up doing all the 6 if we just focus on doing one of them. So this is really amazing. When I first heard these 6 paramitas, I could realize what a great person Shakyamuni Buddha must have been. Yeah, because I never heard anyone else categorizing countless good deeds into 6. Okay, so today we skip this one for now. So the 5th paramita, self-reflection. In Japanese, this is how they write it, which is pronounced as Zenjo. Have you ever written these characters?
Some, but very elementary level.
Elementary level. Yeah. So this is actually the character for Zen. It's the word Zen we hear a lot in America or in the West related to Buddhism. What comes to mind when you hear the word Zen?
Zen, or meditative state kind of understanding, is more thought-based than action-based.
Right, yeah. So that's the common understanding we have in America about Zen. And so many people tell me that state, when I ask them, so what do you think meditation is for? Many people tell me it's like you can use meditation as a visualization technique when you want to win an athletic competition. Have you heard this usage of meditation? Not so much. Especially in Japan, this is very common, I've heard. Yeah, athletes, they all try to do some kind of meditation, which is visualizing themselves, like if they're runners, imagining that or visualizing themselves breaking through that finish tape. over and over, and then how they move their arms and legs, they kind of play it in their mind, meditating, calming. And studies have shown that it has helped them to reach a better score in their time. So this is what some people tell me. Or meditation, they do to relax. Isn't that a very common purpose of meditation? In America, life is so stressful, or at least in Los Angeles, it's such a big city. There's so many people. When you drive, you know, you like driving?
I like driving, but not now.
Yeah, it can be really, yeah, it can be challenging for sure. So yeah, after a long drive, so some people want to meditate to relax. So that's what they think when they consider the word meditation, to relax, calm their nerves. Or they do meditation to become better. Many studies have shown that meditation might help lower your blood pressure. So some people do meditation for health purposes. But actually, that Chinese character Zen, it's, yeah, like you said, the Zen meditation. And when we talk about Zen, Zen is actually a system founded by a person with the name of Bodhidharma, who was born, 528 AD. And he actually meditated in front of a blank wall. Another wall with like paintings like that. We don't even have a blank wall here. So, blank wall, nothing to entertain your mind for 9 years. And if you do for 9 years, 9 years you sit down in meditative state, and he didn't move, believe it or not. If you wonder how he ate food, his disciples would bring him a little bit of food, he would just eat very quickly. And if he had to use bathroom, his disciples would bring him a little pan, like the hospital beds they have, and then he would do his, take care of the cold pitcher, and then he would be finished. He didn't move. That's how strict he was in his meditation practice. And I tried to bring the dog. Maybe if you would see, you want to take this as kindness. It's on my desk upstairs.
Okay, I bring it.
The red one. Yeah. And so, what's going to happen if you sit down? Meditation style, like, it's not on a chair usually. They sit on the floor. And in Japanese, they call it seiza. Have you done it?
Mm-hmm.
How does it feel?
It's tough the first time you do it, but you get used to it.
You get used to it, yeah. Yeah, the first time I went to Japan, and then everyone was doing seiza, Japanese way of sitting with their, legs, folded underneath. So, and I was wearing jeans. I didn't know that. If you're wearing jeans and you want to sit Japanese style,
No.
Not a good idea. It was so difficult. And then some Japanese friends said to me, you don't want to wear jeans.
Exactly.
That was very practical advice. So I knew. But still, it was so difficult to do it only 5 minutes or so. And then it was so difficult, but over many years, because you can increase your tolerance gradually, now I can do it maybe up to 40 minutes or so. And then it becomes very difficult. But this master, founder of Zen School of Buddhism, he did it for 9 years. And 9 years, it's not like 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And with summer vacation. No, it was 24/7. Day in, day out for 365 days times 9. So what's going to happen to him if you do that? So his arms and legs started kind of losing their functions because blood cannot circulate. And then it kind of either fell off or someone had to help him get amputated. And so this is his image in Japan now. This is the Daruma doll. Have you seen this before? Did you know it has something to do with the founder of School of Buddhism, then School of Buddhism? You see, it has no arms and no legs. His eyes look very stern. That's how seriously he was staring at his mind, doing meditation, facing himself for 9 years. Unfortunately, not many people know this in Japan today. So this has become just a decoration term, and so have fun with it. And maybe it's a symbol of good luck in Japan. They don't know the origin. So this is what real meditation is about, what Bodhidharma did. Very strict. So to think that, when we do meditation for health purposes or calming relaxation, that's really, really different. I have a story from this book, Unshakable Spirit. So it's number 73. So, yes, it's number 73, or the story 73, which is on page 161. And if you open to page 161, last paragraph. Okay. Would you like to read?
Sure. 161.
Yeah. One of
Shakyamuni's main disciples, Sariputra, was doing seated meditation in a peaceful and secluded mountain spot when Vimalakirti, a sage whom he had always admired, happened along and asked him what he was doing. As the answer seemed obvious, Shariputra was put out and answered with irritation, "I'm meditating." Perceiving Shariputra's distraction, Vimalakirti retorted, "You call that meditating? If by meditation you mean only sitting without moving, you might just as well say the trees around you are meditating too." In this way, he pointed out that Shariputra was following only the outward form of meditation, having lost its true spirit. When we pursue the outward form while neglecting the inner essence, the result is always pitiful.
Okay, thank you very much. So as you can see here, so this Shariputra was one of the great disciples, main disciples of Shakyamuni Buddha. And the other person, Vimalakirti, he was not a disciple. He was a sage who was very blunt. So many people disliked him because he would maybe tell you some of your flaws straight. And so most people disliked him. And so when he came around Shariputra while he was doing meditation, he sensed his presence. And when Vimalakirti asked him, "What are you doing?" and Shariputra was irritated, "You can see what I'm doing, I'm meditating." Then Vimalakirti made fun of him that if you call that meditation, then the rocks and the trees are doing better job than you, because they don't move at all. They're sitting there forever. Mm-hmm. So just sitting there and closing the eyes is not meditation. Yeah, so that's something very important to know for us. So we want to know then, what is self-reflection? What is self-reflection if it's different from meditation? So I found some quotes online. Much of the time we are transfixed by all the ways we can reflect ourselves out into the world and barely find the time to reflect back deeply on our own selves. So it shows us it's not easy to reflect back deeply in, because we are always projecting, our visions and our view of the world outside. In other words, our eyes are looking outwardly all the time. It takes a lot of practice and listening to the Dharma to turn our eyes inward and look inside and do the paramita of self-reflection. And unless we learn to face our own shadows, we will continue to see them in others, because the world outside us is only a reflection of the world inside us. So facing our own shadows, maybe by shadows is meant our shortcomings or flaws, things we don't want to face. Maybe things that are kind of... And self-reflection is a humbling process. It's essential to find out why we think, say, and do certain things. Then we can better ourselves. So while our eyes are looking outwardly and we judge what other people might be thinking or saying and doing, so we have tendency to ignore ourselves or who we are. And then we lose the chance to better ourselves. We are expecting others to change. So if we switch this process, then it becomes a humbling process. And the greatest of faults is to be conscious of none. This is one of my favorites. So the greatest of shortcomings is to think that I have none. Perfect. So, Thomas Carlyle. Okay. Do you have any comments? So far, so good. Yeah, and then people who have had little self-reflection live life in a huge reality blind spot. So, we all have blind spots, things we are not aware of about ourselves. Like, the first time I was job interview when I was mature, they asked me a question that was very unexpected. They asked me, what are your weaknesses? And I had never thought about it so straight out. So that was like my blind spot. How can I tell my future boss about my weaknesses, I thought. But, after I learned Buddhism and then learned to do self-reflection, it became clear to me. And then I could also polish how to present it to a person in an acceptable manner. Okay. Okay, this one we skip. And there's supposed to be a question here. So looks like this will be a wonderful day for self-reflection. I mean, it's just supposed to be a horoscope. They made fun with it. It's a horror story. I don't know if you ever had your house flooded. Hopefully not. But yeah, so self-reflection, of course, is different from looking at your image in water. It's different. And I'm going to practice on you before I start managing other people. So, like, especially for supervisors or bosses, it's very good if they learn about the importance of doing self-reflection. So I think everybody needs to listen to Buddhism and learn, especially maybe people who are managing others. And this is kind of funny that for women, maybe they tend to see themselves worse off than they are, older or fatter. For men, they might see themselves. I don't know if you agree or not. Not necessarily. Yeah, it's just a joke. But there was a book, Women Are from Venus, Men Are from Mars. So, yeah, there might be some gender differences. But anyway, the point is, I think Luigi made the point about this cartoon.
It's very difficult to know our true image.
Yeah, so in either case, it's very difficult to see ourselves as we are, exactly the way we are. It's very difficult. For both men and women, it's very difficult. So it takes a lot of listening to the Dharma, to the teachings of Buddha, to be able to do self-reflection. It's not easy. And then, so some people, when we explain to them about self-reflection, then they start asking us if it's same as regret, or maybe thinking or dwelling in the past. Actually, it's not the same, it's different. Yeah, you agree?
Well, no, I've had a conversation with someone about a very similar topic to this, and I'm reminded of it. And the argument that I put up was that To have regret, you have to perform self-reflection, because regretting means that you see yourself or an action that you did and you realize you took the wrong action. But until you do that reflection, you can't realize it. So you can't have regret without reflection. And you know, they're two separate things.
Right.
So just a reminder of that.
Mm. Yeah, so self-reflection, it's very constructive as taught in Buddhism. It's very constructive and positive because we are trying to learn from our mistakes in the past and then we focus towards the future. The future has not come yet, it has not materialized yet, so we can work on it. It's very hopeful. We can hope for a better future if we change ourselves now. But regret or depression, it's more focuses on the past. And it can be destructive in a sense because, you know, we cannot go back and change things that we have done. Like you said, if we have made a wrong decision or we made mistakes in the past, past is past, it's gone. We cannot change them. But so if we dwell on it, you know, I have many friends and acquaintances, unfortunately, they dwell on the past so much, you know, and because I'm close to them, so I get to hear all of it over and over again. But it's so difficult for them to move past that, you know, hurt feelings they've had from the past or that unfortunate event. Yeah, and actually, maybe before I met Buddhism myself too, so when we moved to the US, I remember I was maybe here. I kept back because I missed the, you know, the happiness I had in the past, in my, you know, prior culture and the prior, you know, like relationships I had with family members. Suddenly they were all gone when we came to America. So I remember I went through this, you know, for a certain period of time. And it was kind of destructive because it just brings you down. It's gone. Like, you know, if you keep remembering, for example, happy memories from the past, and you regret that you cannot have them right now, what can you do? So if you just dwell on it, it is past. But if you ask yourself, how can I change myself now so that in the future I can have this happiness or goal that I set for myself, then it becomes very positive and constructive. So the similarity between self-reflection and regret is that in both states of mind, we are trying to change something. When we are self-reflecting or when we are regretting something, in both cases, we make efforts to change something. But do you know what is the difference in terms of what we're trying to change between self-reflection and regret? Do you have any idea? What is it that we are trying to change in doing self-reflection versus in doing regret?
Like the only student here.
Sorry.
All the questions coming from me.
I know, maybe you can help.
I guess the best way to explain it is the self-reflection focuses more on the positive, whereas regret usually is acknowledging negative. And also, like you said, it's about being stuck in what happened before and being in the cycle of not moving on. The past is done, it's over. You know, you're missing now because you're so busy in the past. Whereas a self-reflection, you're looking at, oh, what can I turn this into? What can I, you know, what can I plant that I can, you know, sow from it later? To borrow from last week's. You know, it's a more positive outlook, positive goal.
Right. Yeah, very good. And you, did you have anything to add to that?
So by self-reflection, we try to change the effect in the future with our what we experience in the future. But being just regretting means trying to change something in the past.
Yes.
Of course, it's not possible.
Yeah. So that means the focus is on changing the cause. Right? So because in Buddhism we learn about a lot about the law of cause and effect. This is the foundation of all things. So it's the root and the trunk of all the teachings of Buddha, all the sutras. Everything that Buddha taught is founded upon this law of cause and effect. So, which is, for every effect, there is always a cause. Nothing happens without a cause. And this is law. Law is, like an ironclad principle. It is like steel. You cannot bend it. It doesn't waver. It's always true at all times and all places. Never changes. Human laws, they change from time to time. Like in the past, it was okay to drive and use a cell phone. But many accidents occurred, many lives were lost. They changed the law. Now it's against the law to use the cell phone with your hands and drive. So human laws can change because to err is to be a human. Humans are not perfect, so we make mistakes, and so we change the law in the society. But still, it doesn't change so frequently. That's why they call it a law. But in Buddhism, law in Buddhism, it never changes. Ever. And it often unerringly. 100% with 100% precision. It is operating in all places like Japan, America, Africa, and in all times. 2,600 years ago when Buddha was living, today, and 2,600 years into the future. It is always operating. And according to this law, so every effect has a cause. So cause brings about an effect. So in doing self-reflection, when we do self-reflection, so the focus is towards the future. So we try to change the cause now. What can I do now differently to better effect, happier outcome? Whereas in regret, what's going on is that we are dwelling on the past and we are trying to change the cause in the past. And in self-reflection, we are trying to change the effect in the future, to have a happy outcome in the future. So we try to make effort now, and it's very constructive. Okay? Mm-hmm. Yes, so that's different. Self-reflection is different from regret and depression. So what is self-reflection? So according to Wikipedia, human self-reflection is the capacity of humans to exercise introspection and the willingness to learn more about their fundamental nature, purpose, and essence. The earliest historical records demonstrate the great interest which humanity has had in self. Human self-reflection invariably leads to inquiry into the human condition and the essence of humankind as a whole. And human condition, this was a word that I was not so familiar with in the past. And after I became familiar with this book, You Were Born for a Reason. It has a cover, but yeah, You Were Born for a Reason. This book has 2 parts, and part 1, which is like half of the book, all of part 1 is basically, it says it's human condition. Yeah, everything in part 1, you see it says part 1, the human condition. So to do self-reflection means to understand what is this human condition and understand the essence of humankind as a whole, the nature of humankind, the true nature of human existence, to understand this. And so throughout history, humans and maybe especially philosophers have been dealing with the question of who am I, and know thyself, and they have encouraged us to do introspection, look within. According to Buddhism, self-reflection or contemplation or meditation is actually the opposite of being scattered-minded. It means to find the cause of our unhappiness within ourselves. So we had the Chinese character for self-reflection. What was it?
Zenjo. Zenjo.
Zenjo.
Zenjo.
Yeah. Zenjo. So that means focused mind. Zenjo. Opposite of it is to have our mind scattered. What this means is whenever we find ourselves unhappy, we start pointing things at someone. I'm unhappy because my company is bad. I'm unhappy because, my family don't listen to me. I'm unhappy because, this country is governed by the wrong people. Things like that. The list goes on and on. So our mind goes in every possible direction. It's very scattered, especially when we are in pain. And then we blame others. And this mindset is not good in Buddhism. Opposite of it means to calm the mind. That's what it really means when people talk about meditation, calming the mind. Means by listening to the teachings of the Buddha, we try to calm the mind and not jump at conclusions. Instinctively, we are quick to blame people when something goes wrong. And to catch ourselves doing that and then take a deep breath and learn how to find the cause of our unhappiness within. And then you will be led to the point where this cause of unhappiness will be severed once and for all. And you will experience true happiness. Yeah. And the other day I was watching some TV program, and there was this young woman whose father was shot. And so he was bleeding a lot. They carried him to the hospital, and he didn't die. He was struggling for his life. And in the hospital, after maybe several hours, he had a stroke. So the daughter came, she was a little bit drinking, so she was a little bit drunk too, but she started blaming all the nurses and doctors and, how can a person have a stroke in a hospital? He's supposed to be in good hands. How can that happen? And the doctor was like, that can happen. People can have a stroke. Just because we are in the best care, it doesn't mean, we become immortal. But I thought that was a good example of being scattered-minded and blaming everyone and everything. And they were a kind of a higher class, like very rich family. So she was saying, my father can buy this whole hospital. How dare you're being paid by my father's, how can you not take better of him? And she was so hysterical. Finally, they gave her a shot. What is it? Tranquilizer to calm her. And so the doctors and nurses could actually tend to the kind of critical father and take care of him. But I thought it was kind of, in a bad way, hilarious. But it's very true. This was in a kind of a, not so, it was like a drama, but I've seen it in real time as well. Yeah. And, okay. Okay, so we have this role play, but maybe we can have a break now. And then after the break, I'd like to do a role play of a story of a radish seller. And there are 4 characters in the story. We need someone who wants to be a radish seller. One is a samurai who has a lot of virtue or good ethics, and a narrator, and the radish seller's wife. So yeah, we can have like 10-minute break.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. You got some water or something?
Somewhere.
in wood and material. Yeah. Yeah. Good. Come to Canada. And very even more cheaper than cut in Japan. Yes. My wife's friend, my wife's father is a wood company. Wood company. Wood. By not wood company. Buy wood from Canada and sell Japan. Yeah, very good company from Canada. Yeah.
After our temple, so it was supposed to be another location, right? At first, but then they found a very ancient bone on the graveyard. Graveyard.
Yeah.
Human bone.
Maybe not but I am years or so or they serve a house.
Historical.
Yes, historical.
Really.
Yeah.
So even though our rich group bought the land, they couldn't. So the government.
Yes. Yes. Best place. What's that? An active, interchange. Yes, maybe freeway. Highway, yes. Yes, right there. Active, big. Yes. Yes. Right. Convenient, yes. 2 minutes, yes. 2 minutes. Yeah. Never give up. Yeah. Maybe. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Nice one. Yeah. Hey. Oh. Did you remember? About $5. Yeah. Plus tax.
Round up, so 164. I like that. Yeah. My brain works with numbers very easily. I don't like. It is, but you also come off as a bit of a nerd.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Do you utilize it for your work?
Not directly, but, I've done a lot of tutoring in the past years. I've done a lot. I used to do a lot of tutoring. my old math teacher from school, he might hang out with people. I find it fun. I actually enjoy it. I do. I always enjoy it now. Since you mentioned it. But, well, I mean, my wife and I have this discussion a lot. We talk about the state of education. And one of the things we talk about is how kids are not challenged enough to learn these things so they're automatic, they're quick. You know, if I say it was 5 plus 12, or 5 plus 7, then you go, that 5. It's 12. You don't think that. You send it back, your brain gets back 12 before you think about it. So you can do higher math without thinking. But, I mean, in Japanese, I'll go on this way. Language and math don't go together well in English, but they do in Japanese. For you think about, let's say, how this work in the system, exponential, binary, octal, floating point math. So I studied this stuff. Our language doesn't work with numbers. So there's a reason why a lot of people who deal with languages that have simple ways of expressing numbers are better than American English language. For example, in Japanese, when you write the number 12,
12.
Judy,
Yes.
okay, 10 column, 2 column, 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Very simple, right? The
Yes.
words match the number.
Yes.
Makes sense, right?
Yes. Yes.
When we say 12, we have one word for that combined value. 11, one word combined value.
Yes.
If the word doesn't define that there are two different values working together,
Yeah.
okay?
Okay.
Even 13,
So T.
teen kind of implies 10, but
Yes.
it's still one word for combined value. So easy,
Oh, okay.
10, 3.
That's sweet.
1 and 3, okay? 23 is you know, the language specifically works with the numbers being each digit. So you can separate them, you can combine them, and it makes sense. The language agrees with numbers in Japanese. Chinese is the same thing.
Chinese
is the same thing. The Chinese, you have to put all the zeros in, but, you know, they can Japanese skip all that. But English doesn't do that. We have all these weird, you know, like dozens and gross, it does dozen, and a large gross, which is triple dozen. And so this doesn't line up. You know, even number multiples of 10, 30 is one word. It's not 3 tens, it's 30, like it's 1 1. When kids are learning that, they don't see that relation. They think it's combined, but yet it's not combined. They see it's two different rules fighting for control. Whereas in Japanese, you understand, oh, 3 10, okay, 3 10, 10, 10. That makes sense. You know, Sanju, makes sense, you know, but in English, it's more confusing. So when you're learning math, your brain is fighting two rule sets, two rules. And so,
Yeah, it's very interesting.
you know, I mean, you have to sit and figure that stuff out, but it explains why people from Asian countries tend to have better experiences in learning math than Americans. Imperial measurements versus metrics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Only USA. Yeah, only USA. Yeah. People of course.
Yeah, it's not that good.
Everyone decides to use.
They don't want to change.
Yes.
And my friend from high school is an AP physics teacher in high school. And he has kids who are scientifically curious, intelligent, like that, but they can't do the math. They're science, they can't understand the math. It's because, you know, he thinks, we talk about it, and he thinks that it comes from that. math. When it makes it harder. I don't think I get very far.
Maybe Japan and count 10 on the 10. This is one pound. But in America, the 12 is 1 pound.
That's.
Yeah.
Then they get confused.
Yeah.
そうか、12は
1 pound.
また。
It's short version.
Short. Yeah, was a special edition.
Special edition.
Yeah, special edition. So it's a shortened version. We can.
Oh. Already made.
This was. I mean, you would have to prepare extra copies.
2000
Yeah, December 2000.
本当だ。Oh. No. This short version is
Yeah.
especially for today.
No.
No.
Yeah, it's a coincidence. Coincidence. Yeah. Okay, great.
Okay.
It's recording still, right?
Yes.
Okay, continuously.
Okay.
Okay, so now we're going to role play the story of the radish seller. This story teaches us about the importance of self-reflection and how it makes us become a successful person. Good deeds bring us good effects. Self-reflection is one of the good deeds. So it brings us success and happiness. And so there is a radish seller who was a very poor person, and his livelihood depended on how many radishes he could sell in one day. And then there is a rich samurai who taught him a good lesson. And yeah, so, and then also in the story, we will see the radish seller ends up actually stealing a tub made of iron, which used to be very precious in Japan. So too bad we don't have the actual items to do role play, but okay, where we are. So who wants to be the radish seller?
Okay.
Okay. Katayama Sensei will be the radish seller. And who wants to be the samurai?
I do.
Okay, so Kondo Sensei. And narrator will be Yuichi.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'll be the radish seller's wife. Sorry.
Okay.
Okay.
That was gotta go to you.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah. So number one is the narrator.
Once upon a time in Japan, there was a man that would shout himself hoarse, peddling his wares in Edo.
Radish, radish, come on, your radish. Oh, what is going on today? The afternoon has already gone, yet I haven't sold a single radish since the morning. If things keep going this way, I won't have the money to buy rice for tomorrow. We are hungry.
Oh, hi, it's me. We are hungry. Hey, Hobby.
I get scolded by my wife and my kids, will be crying and yelling with hunger. All right, radish, radish.
Hey, Mr. Radish Seller. I'm over here. Come in through the gate.
Oh,
Are you radish?
it's 100 won for 3, sir.
They are rather expensive. How about we say one radish for 24 more?
Oh no, please, sir. I can't do that. Really, I'm not asking. a reasonable price.
I see. Well then, thanks for your time. Now, off with you.
If I can't make money out of these lunches, my family of 5 will not survive from tomorrow. Sir, please wait. I've been walking through Edo since the morning, and I haven't been able to sell a single radish. Please, I'm begging you. No, good It's a tub. And it's one of those rare metal tubs. If I sold this, I'd be able to buy rice. Russell.
Hey, let's Sarah. I'll buy all your radishes. Bring them all here, please.
But if I take the radishes out of the basket, he'll be able to see the completed tub.
Concealed
tub. And now I won't be able to put it back where it belongs. And yet I can't say I don't want to sell the radishes.
For goodness sake, what is wrong with you? Show me the tub you stole about counter radishes. How dare you steal from me? Now face your punishment.
Please forgive me. I stole it on mere impulse.
On a mere impulse.
Mere impulse, because I am poor. Please, I'm begging you. Spare me my life.
If I die here, my...
Oh no, this is the radish seller.
Sorry. If I die here, my 3 young children won't be able to survive.
No, you don't need to apologize. I only ask you to count the radishes.
Oh, all right.
Timidly, he took the radishes out of the basket and piled them up. There were 23 in total.
I will buy them from you at the place you originally offered. Also, I will include this tub. No matter how poor you may be, it will justify stealing other person's things. Your nature appears terribly dirty. Take the tub with you and wash the filth of your mind. A tub is a tool for washing one hand and foot and feet, but depending on how you use it, there are also ways to clean one's mind.
Okay, so he goes to his house. Darling, welcome home. Were you able to sell the radishes? What's wrong? What on earth has happened?
Well, I was wrong. No matter how much you were struggling, you should never do things that you find shameful.
As he told the full story, his heart became full of shame.
Oh, darling.
The will of the mind will be expressed as deeds without faith. After that, the husband and wife joined forces and worked just as hard as others. Their effort off, and in 3 years, they were able to open a splendid greengrocer's shop. Overjoyed, the man went to visit the samurai that had given him the tub.
If I hadn't received a scolding from you back then, I probably would have become desensitized to bad deeds and stolen again. This tub has saved me.
Anyone that has such a mindset is able to be amends. It is truly marvelous that you have recognized your error and made effort to change. You came in good time. I will have you become the regular tradesman of this residence.
Really?
I'll be counting on you.
Wow.
Everybody makes mistakes. However, if you are given a chance to reflect on mind and work hard, you will definitely be reborn. This is what the samurai's compassion taught.
Okay, very good. Let's give yourselves a hand. Yeah. Have you ever been a radish seller?
Yeah. Of course. In past.
In past.
In past life.
Oh, it sounded very real. Yeah, very good.
Daikon.
Daiji. Yeah. What did you think of this story, Jim?
I have to admit I was surprised by the samurai's willingness to allow the radish seller to grow from the experience instead of just outright punishing him as if he correct him. Even the artwork like he's about to take his head off. But the overall lesson is anyone who has the chance to perform a self-reflection, even if they don't realize they need to, maybe they need to be shown to look that way. But once they get that chance, they could benefit, they can gain the benefit of the looking ahead, as he said, looking toward the future as opposed to the past,
Right.
which is the opportunity it gives you.
Yeah, very good.
Mm.
Yeah, so maybe if he was punished, of course he did a bad deed. Stealing is one of the 10 bad deeds taught by the Buddha. So it's a bad deed, brings bad effect. But most people, maybe when they do a mistake like that, they want to blame others. That's our tendency. Because I'm poor, I have to do that, or they always find someone to blame. But in this case, so the samurai, like you said, he was a very good person. He didn't care only about material wealth. He wanted to give a lesson to the radish seller. He said, you need the tub to wash your mind. Usually a tub is used to wash our hands or feet, but the samurai noticed the filth in the mind, the filth. So stealing is a bad deed, Buddha teaches. And so he was given this opportunity to grow. That means to grow means self-reflection, and I will never commit this mistake again. So we changed the cause now, and we changed our future for better. So that's what it means to be truly reborn. So it says he was reborn. The radish seller was reborn because he and his wife, they actually worked so hard. They tried to change this cause to bring about a better effect. So in the past, they were very poor, but they didn't want to dwell in that and stop making effort. They learned that if they make more efforts to change their future, then they can have a better life. together. So they worked very hard, the radish seller and his wife. They worked so hard so they could actually become the owner of a grocery, a greengrocer vegetable shop. And he didn't have to go around the town shouting radishes, radishes.
Yeah. Usually people, in case, oh, it's lucky. I saved my life and no effort. But this radish seller is very deeply self-reflection.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very good
Right.
person.
Exactly. So most people would just feel happy that their life was spared. And then we are quick to forget about it, right? Just feel lucky that I was spared. And then you just move on. And then he will steal again, right?
Yeah.
And again.
I think so.
Yeah. That means he would not learn any lessons.
Mhm.
But for some reason, he decided to do self-reflection. That means to learn from the past mistakes and improve ourselves. Yeah, so there are people who don't want to improve themselves. They are only waiting for others to change. So they want other people to change. They forget the effort they have to put in to change themselves. Buddhism teaches us, change yourself and others will follow. If we improve ourselves to become a better person, our family, our friends, co-workers, everybody will be moved by that, and then we will enjoy a happier life. So which would we like to choose? There is this common way of thinking that whenever suffering visits us, we are quick to find out who is responsible for my suffering. We love to blame others. And if we do that, there is no end. Forever, we keep blaming other people. But the Buddhist way of thinking is, when suffering visits us, is what can I change in my life? So the focus is inward. What is it that I can change instead of trying to change other people? Try to change ourselves. And if we do that, if we focus on what is in me that needs to be fixed and improved, then forever we can keep improving, because there is no end. For growth, self-improvement, there is no end. So we can continuously find our shortcomings and work on them to become a better and better person. So this is very positive. And this person who takes this way of thinking, self-reflection, will enjoy peace of mind, serenity, internally. Invisible, intangible, but this person will enjoy peace of mind and calmness. Whereas this person will be angry at others all the time, and anger is totally opposite of serenity and calmness. So this person has to suffer a lot. And every time you point a finger at someone, so you point a finger, you have to be careful because 3 fingers are pointing back at you. It's interesting.
Interesting.
So next time you point finger at someone, let's be careful about 3 coming back to us. Yes. And yeah, so everybody makes mistakes. Yeah, so today we ran out of time, but you can read page 120 of this book on your own. Everyone makes mistakes, so to err is to be a human. But whether we put our mistakes to use depends on how deeply we reflect on our actions. It's desirable to reflect until tears come. This is a passage by our teacher, Takamura Sensei. So, yeah, whether we learn a lesson or not from our mistakes, that determines if our mistakes gain life, they become useful, meaningful, or they're just mistakes that make us feel regretful and depressed. And then finally, in a nutshell, I cannot condemn others, though their sins be red as wine, for truly their offenses pale next to those of mine. This is a poem, beautifully translated to English by Professor Carpenter. It's also from the book, Something You Forgot Along the Way, on this page. So let us take this opportunity, exercise selection. Every time something goes in our life, and when we unknowingly hurt someone in a relationship, maybe we say something that ends up hurting them, instead of accusing others, let us reflect inward and find out if there was anything that maybe I contributed to that problem, and how can I fix that within myself? And then we keep growing forever and become a better person. And also we'll reach a point where we can savor happiness that does not change or fade away or collapse, no matter what happens. So that's all for today's talk. It was great to have you all with us. And next week, we will have Yuichi giving a talk about the last parameter, sixth parameter of wisdom. Yes, so I hope everybody will join us again. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Great. Yeah, we have time for questions or comments. Any questions or comments? Welcome. Yeah, so as we learn more Buddhism, so we go into maybe more difficult cases too. Sometimes we are convinced that I am right, he is in the wrong. So we learn more and more how to deal with those issues too. And that's how we savor peace of mind and serenity.
Yeah, in case Radish Sarah's case is it's difficult, but easy to do self-reflection. It's still is bad things.
Stealing is bad.
Stealing is bad.
Yeah, it's very straightforward.
Straight.
Because stealing is bad.
Yeah, but something my responsibility and the other person's responsibility. It's very difficult. Both responsibility.
Yeah.
How do self-reflection in this case?
Yeah, so in more difficult cases, so it's always me versus, let's say, someone else. And if it's, we have to understand it's never the case that the other person is 100% wrong and I am 100% at fault. This never happens. So maybe if it's 80% the other person's fault, that means I have 20% something that I might have contributed to this conflict. Most people only focus on this, the other person, and they try to change this person. They try to change this person, and they ignore this part. And as you know, it's an endless battle. It's a defeating battle because we cannot change other people. It's very difficult. As Buddhists, we focus on this 20%. Even though it's 20% my shortcomings that I can use as an opportunity to polish myself and correct my my flaws. So every person is like not so smooth around the edges. By polishing the character, we become smoother and smoother, and then it can shine and glow. So that's the Buddhist attitude.
Okay, thank you.
Good question.
We'll talk about this next week.
Next week. Next week.
Yeah. So this went a little deep, so that will lead to the next week's discussion. So please join us.
I'm looking forward. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, Jim seems to be a very calm person. You've always been like that? Or you end up blaming people sometimes?
Question. Depends who you ask.
Yeah.
No, as I was telling him when we met, I've been studying Buddhism for like 2.5 years. And so, even my wife says that she's noticed an effect on me, how I approach things, how I do struggles or the bad news or whatnot. She says I'm a little calmer, a little more level-headed when I approach. Even if I make mistakes, I still kind of have a smarter approach to it and more see more of it before I go into it or whatnot. I feel more confident because I used to be very reactionary. Not necessarily angry, although there was more frustration than anger, but I was very reactionary. As soon as it happened, it was like, get all over it, squash it down now, then we'll figure it out later. I'm less so that, or well, hold on. Let's look at this, because I think, okay, if I do this, what am I going to have to reflect on in 10 minutes?
Right. Consequences.
What's tomorrow going to show for me? It's like, okay, well, if I make this decision now, I will feel better for it. It may be harder, but I'll benefit if I go this path. It will give me better options. So I'll leave and I'll go that way. So I'm a little better. I'm not perfect at it, but I'm a little better.
That's very good. So that's the power of teachings of Buddha, Buddhism.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's why for 2 years. So it's
very good. It's just the start. Imagine how much more happiness is waiting if you learn more. Yeah.
We had a wall for years, but
Yeah, not sitting at a wall.
well, most of the Buddha dolls I've seen only have one eye.
Oh, one eye
Yeah.
usually.
In both
Election.
Election.
Direction,
During
yes.
elections.
It's Dharma. Never give up. Okay. Don't move. Get enlightenment. Until get enlightenment.
Right.
This is a powerful mind.
Mindset.
強い決意.
Resolution, determination.
Yes, it's a
Determination.
resolution, determination, and direction. I want to be politician. Never give up. This mind and
One eye.
one eye.
Oh.
Put on one
Maybe
eye.
it shows single-mindedness.
Yeah, and get
The result.
Yes.
People's vote.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Never give up.
Never give up.
Yes.
One track determination and then result.
Yeah. Maybe many politicians or some, they know Buddhism, right?
Yeah.
In Japan.
If they do, they don't show it.
They don't show it. Yeah.
Maybe nobody knows what their means.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Only common sense.
Yeah.
Yes.
They don't know the real meaning.
Yes.
Yeah, but yeah, maybe he's a sign of determination because he never gave up. 9 years to the point that you lose your arms and legs. That's amazing. That's how much he wanted to reach enlightenment. Yeah. Yeah, so that's the determination. And then once you reach enlightenment, like the movie, we watched this movie, Why We Live in Japan. So then you want to repay your gratitude. Then there's nothing that makes you fear.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it was a very beautiful story. They're working on its translation now. So hopefully we can get to watch it.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Almost fearless.
Okay.
Okay, great.
Yes, thank you. Good,
Yes.
good lecture.
Yeah, thank you. He helped me with the outline, everything. Yes, so it comes from a teacher.
Okay.
Thank you.
Say goodbye.
Yes, so goodbye, everybody. See you next week. Luigi will be the speaker next Thursday. He's preparing
join
very
us
hard.
next week.
So please join us again.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, bye.